The sky above Earth was never meant to burn that way. It began with strange lights, small, silent, and too perfect to be natural. People called them comets at first. But when the lights stopped moving and hung above the cities, everyone realized it was something else. The aliens came without warning. They didn't send messages or threats. Their ships appeared across the skies, black and sharp like knives cutting through the clouds. Within hours, entire nations went dark. Communications failed. Satellites vanished. Humanity had no idea who the invaders were or what they wanted. Old General Elias Ward watched it all unfold from the command room of an underground bunker somewhere in the mountains. His hair was silver, his face marked with years of war and loss. He had fought humans before, never beings from the stars. Around him, younger officers moved fast, shouting coordinates, updating broken screens, trying to make sense of a war that had already been lost. "They're not even attacking," one officer whispered. "They're observing." Elias narrowed his eyes. The alien ships hovered in perfect formation. No smoke, no sound, no movement. Only stillness. It was like they were waiting for something. When the attack finally came, it was quiet. The first strike wasn't a bomb or a beam. It was light, white, and cold, washing over cities. Machines stopped working. Engines died. Humans fell silent as the aliens' technology swallowed their world. For the first time in centuries, mankind stood powerless. The aliens landed soon after. They were tall, their armor reflecting strange colors like liquid metal. Their faces were hidden behind glass masks, their voices echoing with metallic tones. They didn't speak Earth's languages, but their meaning was clear through gestures, submission. Human leaders were gathered. Soldiers disarmed. Resistance collapsed before it began. And in that silence, one small group was brought before the alien commanders, captured survivors from an old military base. Led by General Ward himself, the aliens looked at them the way predators look at cornered prey. "You resist extinction," one of them said through a mechanical translator, its voice sharp and hollow. "But your species is weak. Your weapons are primitive. Your minds slow." The human soldiers stared at the floor, silent and broken. Elias didn't move. His old hands trembled slightly, but his eyes stayed sharp. He had seen many wars. He had lost more than he had won, but this was different. One alien stepped closer, tall and lean, its armor pulsing with faint blue light. "Old human," it said mockingly, tilting its head. "You are prey. Accept your end with silence." A small laugh escaped Elias's lips. It was quiet at first, then stronger. The sound echoed in the alien hall. The soldiers around him looked up in shock. The alien commander froze, confused. Elias took a slow breath, his voice calm and steady. "You think we're prey because we bleed?" he said. "Because we lose? You don't understand what humans are." The alien tilted its head again. "Explain." Elias looked around at the silent soldiers, then back at the alien. "We fall, yes. We break. But every time something tries to erase us, we learn. We change. We become the very thing that was supposed to destroy us." The room fell silent. The aliens exchanged glances, their glowing eyes narrowing. "You may be predators," Elias said, his tone low and dangerous, "but we're something far worse when we have nothing left to lose." For the first time, the aliens hesitated. The light above flickered. A distant explosion rumbled from outside the alien ship. One of the human soldiers whispered, "Sir, did you hear that?" Elias didn't answer. He only smiled faintly. "Maybe," he said softly. "The war isn't over yet." The aliens turned toward the sound. The metallic floor trembled again, louder this time. Something massive moved beneath the ship. Sirens screamed in alien tones. The commander barked orders. Its calm voice replaced with sharp panic. The old general stood quietly, eyes locked on the chaos. "You called us prey," he whispered. "Let's see how you handle hunger from the other side." And for the first time since the invasion began, fear crossed the alien faces. The alien ship trembled as the explosions grew louder. The walls shook, lights flickered, and the sound of alarms filled the metallic corridors. The alien commander shouted in its harsh language, giving orders that echoed through the ship. General Elias Ward stood still, watching. His old eyes followed every movement. Around him, his soldiers stared in confusion and hope. They had been prisoners only minutes ago. Now something outside was attacking their captors. One of the younger soldiers whispered, "Sir, who's hitting them? We thought everyone was gone." Elias didn't answer immediately. He studied the glowing symbols flashing on the alien panels. He could see fear behind their perfect order, cracks in their control. "Someone out there still remembers how to fight," he said quietly. The aliens forced the humans down, weapons raised, glowing like molten metal. But then another explosion hit, closer this time. The floor split open slightly, smoke rising from below. Sparks fell from the ceiling. One alien stumbled backward, its mask cracking. The smell of burnt metal filled the air. Elias looked at the broken mask. Behind it was not a face like theirs. It was something insect-like, cold, and sharp. Black eyes blinked without emotion. The creature hissed. "So this is what you really are," Elias said. "Predators hiding behind armor." The alien raised its weapon toward him, but before it could fire, the ship tilted violently. Gravity shifted. Everyone fell sideways as the massive vessel groaned and began to descend. "Hold on," Elias shouted. He grabbed the nearest railing and pulled one of his soldiers to safety. The alien guards tried to balance, but the sudden motion threw many of them to the floor. Their own weapons discharged by accident, burning holes through the metal dot outside the viewport. Bright trails crossed the dark sky missiles, old human missiles. Not alien tech, not plasma, not lasers. Real, dirty, imperfect human weapons. The ship hit the ground with a deep, echoing crash. Everything went dark for a moment. Smoke filled the chamber. When Elias opened his eyes, his ears were ringing. The room was a wreck, twisted panels, sparks falling like rain. The aliens were dazed. Some lay motionless. His men groaned, but most were alive. He pushed himself up, coughing. "Everyone on your feet," he said, voice firm. "If they think we're done, they're wrong." A soldier limped toward him. "Sir, what now?" "We're surrounded." Elias looked at the corridor ahead, dim, full of shadows. "Then we start walking." They moved carefully through the wrecked ship. The air smelled of smoke and metal. Strange alien fluids dripped from the walls where systems had ruptured. They passed broken chambers filled with glowing crystals and unfamiliar machines. "This isn't just a warship," Elias said softly. "It's a lab. They've been studying us." Another soldier stopped. "Studying? For what?" Elias looked at a shattered screen showing human DNA models, muscle diagrams, and brainwave patterns. "To understand what makes us." "US," he said. "Maybe to control it. Or destroy it." The sound of movement came from ahead. They ducked behind a broken wall. Two alien soldiers appeared, scanning the corridor. Their armor glowed blue in the dark. Elias motioned silently. His men waited. When the aliens came closer, he grabbed a fallen alien weapon from the ground. It was cold, unfamiliar, but when he pulled the trigger, a pulse of light shot out. The alien fell instantly. "Still got it," Elias muttered, handing the weapon to a younger soldier. "Learn fast. You'll need it." The second alien turned and screamed in its strange voice, but a quick burst from the human rifle silenced it. Smoke filled the hallway again. They kept moving. Somewhere above, heavy footsteps echoed more aliens regrouping. The humans slipped into a maintenance hatch and crawled through narrow tunnels. The space was tight, the air warm. Elias could hear the faint hum of the ship's core somewhere nearby. After several minutes, they reached a hatch that opened into the outside world. Cold night air rushed in. They stepped out into a dark forest. The alien ship had crashed deep into the mountains. Flames burned in the distance, and parts of the vessel still glowed with blue energy. Elias looked up at the stars. Many were hidden by the smoke, but one thing was clear: the alien fleet was still in orbit. "This isn't over," he said. "They'll send more." A voice crackled in his earpiece. He froze. That device had been dead for days. "This is Outpost Echo," the voice said, faint but real. "Is anyone alive out there? Repeat, is anyone alive?" The soldiers exchanged shocked looks. Elias pressed the transmitter. "Echo, this is General Ward. We're alive." "Where are you?" "2 clicks east of your position, sir." "You're not the only one still fighting." Elias smiled for the first time since the war began. "Copy that. We're coming." He turned to his soldiers. Their faces were dirty, tired, but full of new energy. "You heard them," he said. "We're not done yet. Humanity doesn't end like this." As they moved through the forest, distant lights appeared, human lights. Flickering between the trees, survivors. Resistance stopped behind them. The alien ship burned quietly. Smoke rising toward the stars. For the first time since the invasion. The night sky didn't feel hopeless. Elias looked back once, his voice low. "They called us prey," he whispered. "Let's show them what prey can become." The forest swallowed them as they disappeared into the darkness, walking toward the next fight. The forest was silent except for the soft crunch of boots on wet ground. The air smelled of smoke and metal dust drifting down from the crashed alien ship behind them. The small group of survivors moved fast through the trees, their faces dimly lit by the glow of fires in the distance. General Elias Ward led them, his body tired but his mind sharp. Every step reminded him how much Earth had changed. The once bright world was now a battlefield of silence and shadows. Yet something inside him burned stronger than fear, the need to understand why the aliens had come, and what they truly wanted. After an hour of walking, faint human voices came through the trees. They reached a hidden base, rough shelters built from wreckage, half buried under camouflage netting. Armed men and women guarded the entrance, wearing mismatched armor and carrying old weapons. When they saw Elias, their eyes widened. "General Ward?" One soldier said, disbelief in his tone. "Sir, we thought you were dead." "Not yet," Elias replied. "But if we stay here too long, we will be." They entered the outpost. It was small but alive. Screens flickered with unstable power. Radios buzzed with half-broken signals, and maps were pinned on metal walls showing alien movements. A young engineer approached, carrying a tablet. Her face was dirty, eyes sharp and alert. "Sir, you need to see this," she said. "We've been decoding something from the alien network. It's strange." Elias followed her into a small room filled with humming equipment. The screens showed alien symbols, lines of code, and strange images, diagrams of the human brain. "They're studying neural patterns," the engineer said quietly. "Specifically, human emotion." Elias frowned. "Emotion? Why would they care about that?" She hesitated. "Because they don't have it." The room went silent. "They think emotion is weakness," she continued. "But the data shows they've been running simulations trying to copy it. They can't understand how humans survive after losing everything, after pain, fear, or grief. They can't comprehend how emotion can make us stronger." Elias stared at the screen. "That's what scares them." "Yes, sir," she nodded. "They fear something they can't calculate. They call it the mind weapon. The general looked at the flickering data, realization dawning. They've been trying to find a way to remove it. To erase that part of us. That's what this invasion is about, not just control. It's fear. Outside, a deep rumble echoed across the sky. Everyone froze. The sound grew louder, shaking the walls. A soldier ran in shouting, "Sir, we've got movement. Multiple contacts approaching from the west." Elias grabbed his rifle. "Get everyone underground. Move now." The forest lit up with blue light as alien drones descended, scanning beams cutting through the trees. The humans scattered for cover, firing old bullets and stolen alien weapons. Explosions lit up the night. Elias ducked behind a rock, returning fire. The aliens were precise, moving in perfect coordination, emotionless and fast. But humans were unpredictable. One soldier threw a grenade in a wild arc. It hit a drone's thruster, sending it crashing into another. Chaos spread. Inside the base, the engineer worked fast, trying to upload the alien data before they lost power. "Just a few more seconds," she shouted. Sparks flew from the machines. Elias saw a group of aliens advancing toward her tent. He ran out, firing his rifle until the clip was empty. Then he grabbed the fallen alien weapon, aimed, and fired again. The bright energy blasts ripped through their armor. "Get the data out," he yelled. She nodded, pressing a final key. "Uploading to the satellite link. If this works, other bases will get the message. They'll know what the aliens fear." A huge explosion threw them both to the ground. The entrance collapsed, smoke filling the air. Elias coughed, dragging the engineer out from under debris. She was alive but barely conscious. He looked up. More alien ships were arriving, hovering low. Lights scanning through the smoke. The transmission signal blinked red, then green. "Upload complete." Elias smiled faintly. "You did it." She nodded weakly. "They'll know now. What makes us human?" The aliens surrounded them, weapons ready. The commander stepped forward, the same one from before, tall and silver-armored. Its cold voice echoed. "You resist again. Pointless. You cannot win." Elias stood tall, even with dust on his face and blood on his sleeve. "Maybe not today," he said. "But now you know what you're fighting against. Not soldiers. Not machines. Not logic. You're fighting our hearts, and you can't predict those." The alien tilted its head, expression unreadable. Emotion, flaw, inefficiency. Elias smiled. "No, it's evolution." Before the alien could reply, gunfire erupted from the trees. Human reinforcements, more survivors from other bases, had arrived. The night exploded with fire and light. Elias pulled the injured engineer behind cover. "Looks like your upload worked fast," he said. The aliens began to retreat, their perfect formation breaking. For the first time, they looked uncertain. As the last drone exploded overhead, Elias looked up at the burning sky. The war had changed. Humanity had a weapon that didn't need metal or fire, something the aliens could never build or steal. And deep inside, Elias knew this was only the beginning. The dawn came with smoke instead of sunlight. The horizon burned orange and red, and the sky was full of falling debris. Alien ships that once hovered like gods now drifted helplessly, their engines flickering and failing. General Elias Ward stood on a ridge above the destroyed forest base. His face was tired, but his eyes were calm. Around him, soldiers moved among the wreckage, collecting weapons, helping the wounded, and cheering as they saw the enemy retreat for the first time. Humanity was not winning yet, but it was no longer dying quietly. Reports came through on the radio from across the planet. Small resistance groups had seen the uploaded message, and they understood now. The aliens feared something they couldn't measure, the power of human emotion, instinct, and chaos. It was not a weapon humans built. It was what they were. "Sir," said a young soldier running up, holding a cracked tablet. "We've intercepted alien communications. They're confused. They've lost control of their lower fleets." Elias looked at the device. The alien symbols flashed in random order. He could almost feel the panic hidden beneath their perfect logic. "Good," he said. "Let them feel what fear tastes like." The soldiers smiled. "What's the plan now?" Elias looked at the sky. "We make them remember that we're not prey." That same night, the humans launched their first coordinated counterattack. Old missiles, patched-together fighter jets, and stolen alien weapons all fired together. It wasn't perfect, it was messy, loud, and full of mistakes. But it worked. Alien drones fell like burning stars. Their ships wavered as humans learned how to hack their systems using the data from the captured ship. Every time the aliens tried to adapt, humans changed their strategy again. The aliens couldn't understand it. They were designed for control, not chaos. They had never faced enemies who fought like this: emotional, unpredictable, reckless, and unstoppable. Elias and his team moved toward the ruins of a nearby city where alien forces had built a command center. The once great city was nothing more than metal bones and ash, but its underground tunnels provided cover. "Keep quiet," Elias whispered as they entered the ruins. The ground shook with the sound of alien patrols above. Blue lights scanned the area, cutting through smoke. One of the soldiers whispered, "Sir, do you think they'll ever stop?" Elias shook his head. "No, predators don't stop. They must be made to stop." They reached the old subway tunnels. Inside, a human technician worked quickly, setting up a makeshift control station. On the screens, alien ships floated like silent sharks above the clouds. "We found something, General," the technician said. "A weakness in their command signal. If we overload it, we can disrupt the entire fleet for a few minutes." Elias raised an eyebrow. "How many minutes?" 3, maybe 4. He nodded. "That's all we need." Outside, the human forces prepared for the final strike. Every surviving fighter, every drone, every rifle pointed at the sky. They didn't have numbers or technology, but they had something else: rage, memory, and the will to survive. "On my mark," Elias said through the radio. His voice was steady, strong. "For every city they burned, for every life they took, we show them what humans do when they're cornered." The signal launched. A pulse of static energy shot through the sky, unseen but powerful. Alien ships blinked, their lights dying out one by one. The entire fleet froze in midair, trapped in their own network. "Now!" Elias shouted. The ground shook as missiles fired from hidden launchers. Human fighters roared upward, flames trailing behind them. The sky lit up with explosions, bright, chaotic, unstoppable. Alien ships burst open like falling suns. The air burned red and gold. For the first time, the predators screamed. But victory didn't come without cost. Many human fighters didn't make it back. Some crashed midair. Others vanished in flames. Elias watched from the ridge, his chest heavy but his heart steady. The radio crackled. "General Ward, it worked. The main ship is losing power. They're retreating." He allowed himself a small smile. "Good, let them run. But this isn't the end." The ground trembled again, not from battle this time, but from something deeper. A shadow passed over the sky. Above the burning wreckage, a massive alien ship appeared, 10 times larger than the rest. Its hull glowed dark red, like living fire. The soldiers stared in awe and fear. "What is that?" Elias narrowed his eyes. "That's their real leader," he said. "The one pulling all the strings." The massive ship opened its center, revealing a pulsing energy core that lit the clouds. A deep voice echoed across the battlefield, translated through every human device. "Humans," it said coldly, "you have learned defiance. But you forget, we are not one. We are legion. Elias raised his rifle slowly, his jaw tightening. "And you forget," he said softly, "that humans never stop fighting, not even when the gods come down." The sky filled with lightning. The final stage of the war had begun. Elias looked at his soldiers, their faces lit by fire and determination. "This ends with us," he said. "One way or another." And as the massive alien ship began its descent, every human heart on Earth beat the same rhythm, fierce, wild, and unbreakable. The world trembled under the shadow of the giant alien ship. It floated above the clouds like a dark sun, its core pulsing with red light, covering the land in an endless glow. Every smaller alien vessel circled it like obedient children, waiting for orders. General Elias Ward stood on the ridge, the wind pulling at his tattered uniform. His soldiers waited behind him, faces pale but eyes determined. They had fought through fire and death, but this was something beyond war. The radio buzzed with frightened voices. "Sir, that thing. It's draining power from everything. Our systems are going offline." Elias didn't flinch. "Then we fight without systems," he said. "Like humans always have." He turned to his second-in-command, Captain Reyes, a young woman with dirt-streaked cheeks and burning eyes. "How many missiles do we have left?" "Just 6, sir. And maybe half our energy weapons are working." Elias nodded. "It's enough." Reyes looked confused. "Enough to win?" "Enough to make them listen." He walked toward a small command tent at the edge of the hill. Inside, maps were spread out, marked with alien crash sites and resistance signals from around the world. A holographic image of the massive alien ship flickered on the screen. Glowing red, the engineer from before, the young woman who had decoded the alien data, was there too. Her arm in a sling but her eyes still sharp. "General, I found something," she said. "A signal embedded deep in their network. It's their core frequency, like a heartbeat. If we can overload it, it could collapse the main ship." Elias studied the data. "How do we reach it?" She hesitated. "We'd have to send someone inside the signal source. Their ship's energy core, it's suicide, sir." He smiled faintly. "It always is." Reyes frowned. "You can't be serious." "We'll find another way." "There isn't one," Elias said softly. "You saw what happened when we hit them with missiles. They heal faster than we can hurt them. The only way to end this is to break their heart." The engineer looked at him sadly. "Sir, you can't go yourself." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. "I'm the only one who can. They already know me. They'll let me close enough because they think I'm just an old man trying to survive." Outside, thunder rolled. The alien ship's voice returned, deep and metallic, filling the air. "Human resistance detected. Last warning, surrender and live as subjects or perish." Elias stepped out of the tent, staring up at the sky. "They still think we care about living under them," he said. "They still don't understand." He looked at Reyes. "Prepare the remaining fighters. I'll take the stolen alien shuttle. Get me close to that ship's core." Reyes grabbed his arm. "If you go, you won't come back." He smiled. "Then make sure it means something." The soldiers saluted him as he climbed into the small alien craft they had repaired from wreckage. Its controls glowed faintly blue, responding to his touch. The doors sealed shut, and the engines hummed with strange life. "Control, this is Ward," he said through the radio. "Keep your eyes on the sky. When you see that thing start to burn, finish the job." "Understood, sir," Reyes replied, her voice steady but trembling. The shuttle lifted into the smoky air, cutting through the red glow. Below, human fighters began to rise, following at a distance, ready to strike when the time came. As Elias approached the alien mothership, its immense surface stretched out like a metallic continent. He guided the shuttle into one of its open hangars. The interior was enormous, walls alive with light, Floors shifting like liquid metal. Alien soldiers moved through the corridors, but none stopped him. They watched in silence, curious, as the human general walked among them without fear. Finally, the alien leader appeared, tall, armored in black and crimson, its voice echoing in the vast chamber. "Old human," it said, "you stand before your end. Why do you continue?" Elias stared up at it calm. "Because you still don't understand us." The alien tilted its head. "You fight without logic. You destroy what you could never win. It is useless." Elias took a deep breath. "Maybe, but we don't fight because it's logical. We fight because we remember. Every loss, every face, every story. That's what makes us human." The alien's eyes glowed. "Emotion, weakness." Elias smiled. "Emotion, power." He pressed a small device in his hand. The engineer's voice had told him it was linked to their core frequency. The device began to glow red, matching the pulse of the alien ship. The alien's voice turned sharp. "What have you done?" Elias looked up at the giant creature. "You studied our brains, our hearts. You thought emotion was noise. But what you didn't learn is, our emotions can burn hotter than your sun's." He closed his eyes, whispering, "For Earth." The device pulsed once, twice, then exploded with blinding light. Outside, every human soldier saw it. The massive alien ship shuddered. Its red glow turned white, then cracked apart like glass under pressure. The voice of the alien leader faded into static. The ship began to collapse inward, its massive form breaking apart as fire spread through the sky. Reyes watched from the ground, tears in her eyes. "He did it," she whispered. The humans cheered, shouting through static-filled radios. For a moment, hope lit the world again. But above them, even as the ship burned, something huge began to form within the explosion, a strange sphere of light, like a dying star being born. Reyes frowned. "Wait, what's that?" The light grew brighter, filling the clouds, shaking the earth. The war wasn't over yet. Something was still alive inside the wreckage. The sky burned for hours. The great alien mothership had fallen, but its remains still floated like dying embers across the horizon. The clouds glowed with strange colors, red, gold, violet, as if the earth itself was watching the end of something ancient. Captain Reyes stood among the ruins, her face streaked with ash. Around her, the surviving soldiers worked quietly, tending to the wounded and scanning for radiation. None of them spoke much. They all knew what Elias Ward had done. He had gone up there alone. And he hadn't come back. A small boy, one of the rescued civilians, tugged on Reyes's sleeve. "Ma'am, did the old man win?" She looked up at the burning sky. The wreckage of the alien ship was slowly breaking apart, falling like stars. "Yes," she said softly. "He won." But even as she said it, the ground trembled again. A low, strange hum filled the air. Soldiers turned, weapons ready. From the heart of the fallen ship, something began to rise, a sphere of pure light, spinning and crackling. It floated upward, glowing brighter with each passing second. "Is it another weapon?" Someone shouted. Reyes shook her head slowly. "No. It feels different." The light pulsed once, and a voice faint but familiar echoed through every radio, every headset, every heart. "This is General Elias Ward." The soldiers froze. Reyes felt her breath catch. "I don't have much time," the voice continued. "If you can hear this, it means the core didn't just destroy them. It reached deeper, into their network, their mind." Reyes whispered, "He's alive." Somehow. Elias's voice grew softer, like wind over a calm sea. "They weren't just fighting us for power. They were afraid. They evolved without empathy, without memory. They thought strength meant survival, and survival meant control. But when they met us, they saw something different. Something they couldn't understand. The light sphere above them flickered, shifting shapes, human, alien, and something in between. Elias's voice grew fainter. They saw that even when we're weak, even when we're dying, we still protect each other. We still care. We still hope. That's what scared them. That's what makes us dangerous. Reyes clenched her fist. Around her, the soldiers listened silently, tears running down soot-streaked faces. The war is over, Elias said. Their network is broken. The ones who remain will remember what they saw here, not our weapons, but our will. Static filled the air. Then, just before fading completely, his last words echoed across the planet. Tell them humanity was never prey. We were the fire they couldn't kill. The sphere pulsed once more, and then burst into thousands of tiny lights that drifted across the night sky, like fireflies spreading across the earth. Each light slowly faded, but the warmth remained, glowing faintly in the air. Reyes stood quietly, eyes fixed on the last spark until it vanished. Rest easy, General, she whispered. We'll keep the fire burning. Weeks passed. The alien fleets that remained fled the solar system, silent and broken. Humanity began to rebuild. Cities lit again. Survivors gathered, and for the first time in decades, the stars didn't seem so far away. At a small memorial site, Reyes stood alone, placing a metal dog tag on a stone marked with the name General Elias Ward. Behind her, the young engineer approached. We decoded the last of his signal, Captain, she said quietly. It wasn't just a broadcast, it was a message encoded in their own system. Every alien ship still active will receive it. Reyes smiled faintly. What kind of message? The engineer looked down. It's just one line. It says, we are human. Remember us. Reyes looked up at the sky again. The stars were bright that night, cleaner than before. Somewhere out there, perhaps the aliens were watching and remembering. Maybe that's enough, she said softly. She turned to leave, but before she did, she placed a small flag beside the stone. It was tattered, burned, but still recognizable, Earth's flag. Colors faint but alive. The wind caught it, making it flutter gently. And for a moment, it felt as if the world itself breathed again. That night, high above the atmosphere, a single alien probe floated in silence. Its sensors picked up a weak human signal, a voice echoing through the void. It was Elias Ward's voice. Calm, strong, unbroken, he said, if you ever come again, come not as hunters, but as friends. Then the probe's lights dimmed, and the stars swallowed it whole. The galaxy had changed, humanity had changed, and the story of the old man who defied the predators became legend, whispered in every world where strength was worshipped and compassion forgotten. Because that day, the universe learned the final lesson. Humans were not the weakest species. They were the most dangerous because they remembered how to care.